The story begins with an ordinary office worker. He dives into a VRMMO under the username Earth. He creates a standard-looking character, deliberately plain, unremarkable, the kind that wouldn't draw attention. He also chooses what other players call the weakest, most useless skills available. The game's core concept is simple. Give players the freedom to live a virtual life, no difficult mandatory quests, no pressure to grind endlessly. You could simply exist in this world and do whatever you pleased. But as with all freedom, some players abuse it. They run rampant and cause trouble for others. The moment Earth logs in for the first time, he is immediately bullied, all because he chose a bow and arrows. Widely regarded as the weakest weapon in the game, during his target practice, reality hits hard. His skills really are terrible. Not a single arrow finds its mark, no matter how many times he tries. The arrows fly wildly off course, embedding themselves in trees or disappearing into the grass. But then, something changes. After firing his 100th arrow, he levels up. His accuracy begins to improve, slowly but steadily. After his training session, Earth wants to try hunting, but the area is too crowded that day. So he shifts focus. He gathers medicinal herbs, then crafts potions using beginner-grade equipment. It's a sustainable way to build his stock, though the quality still falls short of what NPC vendors sell. Still, it's something. With his preparations complete, it's finally time to hunt. He can't sustain continuous attacks. Not yet, so his first shot has to count. But his archery level remains low. He has to find other ways to compensate. Before long, other players approach him. After watching his fighting style, Zwei and Millie grow curious. There's something about this unassuming archer that catches their attention. They want to befriend him. Even so, Earth still needs considerable time to take down a single monster. Before teaming up with anyone, he decides to continue hunting solo, gathering as much XP as he can. Then he does something completely unexpected. The in-game food is terrible, bland, repetitive, utterly unsatisfying. So Earth decides to cook his own meal using rabbit meat from his hunts. The aroma of properly seasoned, sizzling steak drifts through the virtual air. Players' heads turn, their curiosity turns into hunger, and hunger turns into demands. They want to buy his food. Cooking for a crowd isn't easy work. Fortunately, his cooking skill levels up quickly. He escapes the overwhelming demand before it consumes him entirely. At different times, Earth upgrades his equipment. Preparing everything properly turns out to be surprisingly expensive. To avoid financial losses, he has to sell the potions he crafts himself. The next day brings an unexpected situation. The potions sold by NPCs suddenly vanish. Completely sold out, Earth finds himself as the only supplier left. He is forced to provide potions for all the players in the area. Among the desperate crowd is someone who doesn't bother asking politely. He demands the potions. When Earth doesn't immediately comply, he challenges him to a one-on-one duel. The opponent is confident, arrogantly so. He believes victory is guaranteed against someone with such weak skills. But Earth uses that overconfidence against him. He studies his opponent carefully, searching for weaknesses. And when he finds one, he strikes. A single, perfectly timed attack ends the duel instantly. Several days pass since the potion shortage crisis. Within the game world, something has shifted. Alchemy, once dismissed as a useless skill, has suddenly become essential. Players who ignored it are now scrambling to level it up. Following his original plan, Earth joins a party led by Zoe. Their target, a wild bear. Using his long, range detection skills, Earth spots a cluster of bears ahead. The party searches for one that has wandered away from the group, then lures it into a more advantageous position. Earth initiates the attack with his arrows. Ray uses taunt skills to hold the bear's attention, protecting the others. While the beast focuses on Ray, Earth repositions to safety and resumes targeting. Meanwhile, Millie supports everyone with healing magic. Nora and Z attack from close range. But their close range attacks are too weak. They barely make a dent. At this rate, they will lose. Earth has no choice. He unleashes his trump card, creating an opening that allows Millie to finish the beast off. After the bear finally falls, the party rests, satisfied with their victory. Near the 5th forest area, Earth feels confident enough to venture inside. But moments after entering, he is swarmed by a colony of ant monsters. Death penalty triggers, forcing him all the way back to the starting town. Around the same time, news of an update spreads among players. New skills will be added. New craftable items will become available. And most exciting of all, they can now acquire fairies who will assist their owners. This is no time to relax. Earth decides to craft specialized arrowheads to counter the ant monsters. To address his still weak kicks, he creates bladed boots. These can injure enemies with kicking attacks. For his main weapon, he designs a 4-sided hunting bow. It requires more strength to draw, but the increase in attack power is dramatic. All of this is possible thanks to his crafting abilities. The next day, Earth tests his new equipment. When he encounters a monster, he immobilizes it with blunt arrows. Seizing the opportunity, he follows up with sharp arrows. By repeating this pattern, he defeats the entire swarm. But when the fairy event begins, Earth encounters a problem. He is the only one who fails to form a contract with a fairy. Fairies keep visiting him, but his crystal is damaged, broken beyond use. He can't form a contract with any of them. Having learned high-level skills, he decides it's time to explore a dungeon. Walking through an extremely dark cave, he feels a rush of excitement. It reminds him of exploring caves as a child. That tense, thrilling feeling of not knowing what lurks ahead. Before long, he faces a tarantula monster. Before it can close the distance, he fires his arrows and unleashes his cutting wind skill. But neither is enough to finish it. He has to attack with his newly learned whip skill. After defeating the monster, he discovers a hidden chest inside an old ring. Soon after, the developers announce an upcoming fairy tournament. Through special matches, winning players will see their fairies evolve. For those who fail to form contracts, the tournament offers a chance to win rare fairies instead. Earth eagerly anticipates the event, but immediately after the update, something strange happens. He suddenly receives an odd title, Fairy Teaser. Because of this title, he can't duel other players. Their fairies refuse to fight against him. A player named Rona had been willing to duel him, but her fairy won't eat, so she contacts Earth for advice. It turns out Rona isn't alone. Players are lining up in droves. Desperate for the meals Earth can cook. To lighten his workload, Rona decides to help him. With her assistance, they fulfill all player requests faster than expected. After closing shop, they visit a new town. There, they witness a fairy match between players. One fairy behaves strangely. No matter what happens, it remains silent, refusing to follow its master's commands. There is a reason for this. That player treated their fairy as nothing more than a tool. If things continue this way, they might end up fighting their own fairy. Eventually, the contract crystal is stolen, the bond is erased. After witnessing this, Earth logs out and bids Rona farewell. The next day, the player from that duel shows up at Earth's shop. Having realized his mistake, he wants advice on repairing his relationship with his fairy. One night, Earth encounters a top player named Shelper. "Have you ever met Grad?" Shelper asks. Grad was a former member of Earth's first party, kicked out due to conflicts with other members. For reasons unknown, Grad is now targeting players with the Fairy Teaser title. Earth is warned to stay vigilant and avoid crossing paths with him. Silver, the former party leader, insists he will take full responsibility. Hearing only one side of any story is never the right approach. Still, Earth decides to remain cautious. But since challenging someone to a duel while they are hunting violates the game's rules, he has no reason to stop his activities. Between hunting sessions, Earth spends his free time mining for minerals. During one mining trip, he accidentally discovers explosive ore. Volatile though it is, he decides to keep it rather than let it go to waste. That evening, Earth visits a blacksmith's workshop. He borrows his friend's equipment to craft spinning arrowheads and an iron whip. On a different day, he goes elsewhere to process the explosive ore. After various experiments, he successfully creates explosive fluid, something he can use while hunting. When Earth reaches level 50, he gains several new skills. With these abilities, he can jump higher and fire arrows in rapid succession. The fairy event is nearing its end. Players who won duels earn the right to compete in the tournament. When the tournament begins, half of all active players show up to watch. The participants place bets, all vying for the champion title. In the end, only Silver and Grad remain. They will face each other in the final match. True to his earlier promise, Silver intends to take responsibility by defeating Grad. But Grad is overwhelmingly stronger, multiple times more powerful than Silver. Silver can't overcome him. Grad emerges victorious. As the winner, Grad's fairy evolves into the Fairy Queen, but Grad has always treated his fairy as a mere tool. So the Fairy Queen makes her choice. She parts ways with him. Not only that, she challenges him to a duel and humiliates him in front of everyone. After settling matters with Grad, the Fairy Queen prepares to reward players holding the Fairy Teaser title. But Earth's experience is different. Instead of receiving a reward, he is told to fight her. The Fairy Queen's reason is simple. Earth has no fairy, and he didn't participate in the event. Through combat, she can still grant him a reward. The Fairy Queen is a powerful magic user. After watching her previous battles, Earth knows his chances aren't good, so he decides to fight a little dirty. When the match begins, he immediately repositions and launches his arrows. Once the Fairy Queen realizes Earth's skills can block her magic, she closes the distance for close, range attacks. Earth has anticipated this. While evading, he throws poisonous mist and explosives, making it difficult for her to chant spells. The Fairy Queen can't predict his movements. To protect herself, she uses Earth magic to cover her entire body. But Earth still has options. By erasing his presence, he tricks her, exploiting the opening to lock down her movements. Then he unleashes a combo assault until the Fairy Queen is defeated. As a reward for defeating her, the Fairy Queen gives him a ring. It contains the power of 6 elements. With this ring, she can visit him whenever she wants. Other players begin joking that the Fairy Queen has become his wife. She also grants him a new skill called Prism Nova. No information comes with it. He will have to experiment to understand its effects. When he tries it, his mana drains completely. A massive ring of light appears. When the light strikes a bear, the creature instantly turns to stone. After several tests, he understands. Prism Nova is magic that inflicts random abnormal status effects on enemies. While cooking, the Fairy Queen frequently tries to eat his creations. Earth always stops her. Those are for selling. Later, members of an archer guild come to recruit him. But the representative is arrogant and dismissive. Looking down on Earth, he doesn't bother listening. He walks away without a second glance. During his sales, the Fairy Queen stays by his side the entire time. She refuses to leave until Earth feeds her. But her reasons aren't solely about food. The next day, Earth upgrades his equipment again. After finishing his work, the Archer Guild's leader wants to meet him, to apologize for their members' earlier behavior. Recently, the developers expanded the server to accommodate more players. They also added new abnormal status effects, including one that prevents players from using weapons under certain conditions. In the next update, they announce a new dungeon, Challenge of the Dead. To prepare, Earth needs a shield. Dodging alone won't be enough in tight dungeon spaces. After gathering all the necessary materials, he begins crafting. He plans to build a composite bow based on real-world designs. After several days of work, his new equipment is complete. It has 2 functions. When the lever is held, it functions as a bow. When released, it transforms into a shield. This way, even if he suffers a break arm status, his long-range combat ability won't be lost. After the update, a group of players in flashy costumes suddenly appear. They ask Earth to replace a missing teammate for their new dungeon exploration. Alone, Earth would have hesitated to dive deeper, so he accepts their offer. Working together, they advance steadily, defeating monsters with relative ease. But while descending stairs to the next floor, they hear other players screaming. Upon investigation, they find a group surrounded by a massive swarm of skeleton monsters. Earth and his party immediately help. With no traps detected in the area, Earth can unleash his full power. They heal the wounded players, who then join the fight. Together, they defeat every enemy. A massive treasure chest appears afterward. Recognizing it as a trap, Earth warns them not to open it. But they won't listen, so he says he won't touch it if they open it. After he and his teammate leave, the trap is successfully avoided. Afterward, Earth and his temporary party have to separate due to time limits. To reach floor 10 within an hour, someone needs to disable traps much faster. So Earth crafts special equipment specifically for trap disarming. Before long, the Fairy Queen suddenly appears before him. As the ruler of fairies, she seems exhausted by her duties. She wants to be spoiled by Earth, and suggests they immediately formalize their marriage. After creating his multi-purpose equipment, Earth enters the dungeon solo every day. His goal: improve his thief skills by disarming traps on each floor. Day after day, his thieving abilities grow, eventually reaching evolution territory. Between solo runs, he occasionally plays with ranger parties. After observing monster behavior patterns, he discovers ways to avoid unnecessary fights. As a result, he descends to deeper floors, even reaching stairs connected to the deepest level. When he arrives, only 5 minutes remain on the clock. With time running out, he has to move quickly while staying alert for traps. He also needs to avoid liches. These can inflict abnormal status effects and summon nearby monsters. He is so close to the bottom floor. With traps everywhere, he chooses to leap using his wind skill. Earth is nearly out of time. But the countdown has stopped. He can still make it. Descending the stairs, he encounters the consciousness of a man named Andra. Andra reveals his origins. Then Earth has to fight him. Andra's soul has been corrupted by an evil presence. Facing the boss on the deepest floor, Earth can't fight head-on. He relies on defense while dodging frequently and attacking from range. But even maintaining distance, the enemy's attacks still reach him. A sword slash knocks Earth's bow from his hands, triggering the break arm effect. Fortunately, he has prepared extensively. Even without his bow, he can still use other equipment to shoot. But it still isn't enough to turn the tide. Cornered, he begins chanting to unleash Prism Nova. The spell is incredibly powerful, but it has a major weakness: the long casting time. During those precious seconds, Earth loses his weapon and can only defend. Then, the chant finishes. The Fairy Queen's silhouette appears. She unleashes ice magic that freezes the enemy solid. Earth seizes the opportunity. He unleashes every attack skill he has, until the deepest floor boss is finally defeated. Defeated, Andra's human form appears. He thanks Earth for freeing him. Then the system announces to all players that one of the secret bosses has been defeated. Another day, Earth receives an invitation from Zoe to explore a different dungeon. One member can't log in, so Zoe decides to replace their healer with a new player. The newcomer is a bit rough around the edges. Upon first meeting, she immediately dismisses Earth as weak, treating him like a side character. Earth doesn't mind much. He will show his abilities inside the dungeon. Elisa, however, is the opposite problem. Throughout the journey, she does nothing but complain and dismiss others' opinions. Their target, the Laser Lich, a dangerous undead that can only be defeated by physical attacks. When a monster horde approaches, Earth and the others engage. Elisa freezes in terror, unable to do anything, even as one of her teammates struggles and desperately needs healing. That's when Earth becomes the savior. Using his explosive fluid, he drives back the monster horde, giving everyone time to find shelter. After that incident, Elisa acknowledges her mistake. They continue their journey until their objective is complete. Walking through town, a girl approaches Earth. Just by looking at her, Earth knows she isn't a player. When asked her name, she refuses to tell him. Instead, she asks him to think of her as the Fairy Queen's little sister. She heard Earth can cook delicious food, so she wants to try it. But Earth needs to visit Zira's shop, so the girl decides to accompany him until his business is finished, ensuring she can still enjoy his cooking when he has free time. Soon after, players receive unpleasant news. The requirements for mastering high-level skills have been announced. Players need to focus on a single skill path. This naturally disadvantages those who have cultivated multiple skills simultaneously. That same day, the Fairy Queen's leadership approaches Earth about something important. To avoid chaos in the fairy realm, the Queen tells him he will never be able to form a contract with any fairy. The reason? Nearly every resident of the fairy realm is competing for the chance to contract with him instead. As compensation, the Fairy Queen will grant him power equivalent to what a contracted fairy owner would receive. Earth returns to his cooking routine. While waiting for his dishes to finish, conversations turn to game promotions and upcoming updates to the fairy realm. At one point, Zoe tries to steal his food. Earth immediately hits him. Those are for selling. Shortly after, Ryu appears and does the same thing. Without mercy, Earth strikes him down before he can take any merchandise. The others are curious about their relationship, especially since Ryu only allows Earth to call him by the nickname Ryu. ZY is jealous of Earth's popularity. Earth, meanwhile, feels burdened. He has to spend money to feed him. The Fairy Kingdom is located southeast of the second town. The royal castle sits at the center. The surrounding city forms a cross shape. Many players are planning to visit. The basic way to get there is on foot. But thanks to the Queen's Ring, Earth can use special facilities she has prepared. Riding a giant bird, he reaches the royal city in just minutes. The Queen has even arranged a parade to welcome him. When Earth meets with the Fairy Queen, he thanks her for all the hospitality. Since the Queen won't grant him protection or supervision as an adventurer, Earth states he will begin helping the Fairy Kingdom starting tomorrow. After playing for a long time, Earth plans to log out and find somewhere to rest. When the Queen offers to let him sleep in her chamber with her, Earth flees the castle immediately. He finds lodging at the southern fortress. His reason for choosing that location: few players have visited it yet. Plus, he can take various quests from the fairies there. When he borrows a kitchen to cook, the locals grow curious and want to try his food. After tasting it, they all love it. They keep wanting more. Rumors about him reach the fortress administrator's ears. Before long, the administrator's daughter finds him at the food stall. With an arrogant attitude, she declares that she will make Earth her personal chef. The fairies refuse to allow it. They try to hide Earth. They urge him to move somewhere safe. As darkness falls, Earth leaves the fortress accompanied by a half-animal fairy. Meanwhile, the Fairy Queen receives reports about how the fortress administrator treated Earth cruelly. The next morning, Earth and Zeton arrive at the southern city. Musicians greet them immediately. This is the city of musicians. Earth is tired and wants to log out. Zeton recommends an inn that can serve as a logout point. When Earth logs back in, he finds his body difficult to move. The reason? The Fairy Queen is hugging him tightly. She is acting like his little sister, refusing to let go because she is afraid Earth will leave the Fairy Kingdom. Before long, Ryu enters the inn and immediately interrupts the Fairy Queen's closeness with Earth. The Queen explains she has come to apologize about the Southern Fortress incident. She punished the administrator and his daughter by killing them nearly 30 times each. The Queen's purpose is clear, but Ryu can't just ignore how aggressively the Queen keeps flirting with Earth. Zeton can't believe Earth is close to the feared dragon race. He also finds himself envying how Earth is pursued by such beautiful women. A woman named Karen Fenrir approaches Zeton with a request. She begs him to find her missing child. Wanting to thank Zeton for guiding him the previous day, Earth decides to help. They search the forest area. Based on information from a guard who saw the child, Earth uses his detection skills to locate nearby monsters. Zeton defeats them all until none remain. Then they find who they are looking for. Surrounded by a cluster of monsters, Zeton quickly fights them all while using potions to heal wounds. The missing child Fenrir has long admired Zeton. He feels incredibly lucky to be protected by him. At the same time, Earth senses someone watching them. He tells Zeton and Fenrir to go ahead. Throwing explosives, he forces the Watcher to reveal himself. After interrogation, Earth learns the man intended to kidnap and harm Fenrir. To protect the Fairy Kingdom's safety, Earth decides to eliminate him. He then reunites with Zeton and reports the matter directly to the Fairy Queen, allowing the fairies to find a solution. After discussing the matter, the Fairy Queen stubbornly refuses to leave until Earth promises they will meet again. Earth has no choice but to agree, just to get her out of his room. The next day, Earth leaves the Fairy Kingdom to upgrade his equipment. While in the forest, he finds a baby dragon that has just hatched from its egg. The people who had been carrying it are dead, leaving him no choice but to take the hatchling. Having saved it, he thinks about what to do next. Bringing it to a settlement would likely cause massive problems. So for now, he can only feed it. Then he immediately summons the Fairy Queen to inform her of the situation. After assessing the situation, the Queen says this is a major problem. According to her, the baby dragon is a dragon lord, one of the nobles of the dragon realm, possessing terrifying power. Even worse, it was likely kidnapped by the people who are now dead. Before long, a fairy reports a dragon heading toward the kingdom at high speed. Seeing the baby dragon beside the Fairy Queen, the dragon immediately calls her foolish, assuming she kidnapped it. Soon, the mother dragon arrives. Earth explains everything honestly. Eventually, the dragon believes him. As thanks for saving her child, the dragon asks what Earth wants to prevent conflict. Earth requests that they not suspect the Fairy Kingdom regarding this incident. He also wants them to pretend this meeting never happened. Having considered the Fairy Kingdom's safety so thoughtfully, the Fairy Queen is deeply grateful. She wants to invite him to the castle immediately. But Earth prefers going to the city. It's time to find work. However, there are no quests for adventurers at the moment. He is eventually advised to take a job helping at an inn. A day later, Earth plays casually, wasting time lazing around. It reminds him of his younger days. Honestly, he had hoped for this from the beginning. But instead, he became the center of attention, entangled with troublesome people. Still, he admits it was all fun. Maybe he should care about them a little more. But no sooner has he relaxed than he is dragged into another problem. The Fairy Queen summons him. There is an issue with the dragon princess he found earlier. Ever since meeting Earth, the dragon refuses to eat anything except his cooking. As if that isn't enough, the Fairy Queen keeps flirting with him whenever they are alone. From the moment he logs in at the inn, she is already by his side. Having grown tired of her persistence, Earth ties her up with his spiked whip. Later, while in the city, someone is looking for him. Recognizing the person as someone from the dragon race, Earth decides to pretend to be someone else. At the same time, the Fairy Queen is also searching for him, forcing Earth to flee and log out at the nearest inn. The next day, the Fairy Queen issues a wanted notice for his capture. This makes Earth furious beyond measure. After smashing down the castle doors, he protests directly. He demands the Queen remove his ring. He also declares he will not obey the dragon race's wishes and tells them to go home. But the dragon won't listen, so they will settle this with a fight. According to the dragon race, all humans are incredibly weak. So the first attack is given to Earth. When he strikes, the dragon's scales prove nearly impenetrable. Their attack power is so strong that Earth's equipment is damaged. Ordinary attacks won't be enough. To defeat the dragon, he has to use the ultimate technique granted by the Fairy Queen. In the end, his attack pierces the dragon's defense, but it costs him his virtual life. He won't be able to play for a while. Soon after, the Red Dragon group approaches him. But they haven't come to save their comrade. They immediately revive Earth and apologize for everything that happened. The dragon he fought was actually an elder of the Green Dragons. It seems the elder had been acting recklessly, drawing their attention. Previously, the elder had threatened the Fairy Queen. If her demands weren't met, including making Earth a wanted criminal, she would attack the Fairy Kingdom and the human world. On this occasion, the Red Dragons also want to give Earth a gift. Their daughter was saved by him. They give him money and equipment crafted by the dragon race. After settling matters with the dragons, Earth visits the Fairy Royal Castle. The Queen is in shock, horrified that she made Earth so angry. The incident did make him furious, but he hadn't meant to corner her like this, so he speaks with her gently, acknowledging that her decision was good as a ruler. However, he still wants to seal the ring's abilities. He doesn't want to stand out. Though visibly sad, the Queen understands his decision. After his powers are sealed, Earth parts ways with the Fairy Kingdom and continues his adventures.